Hello everybody, I am here with one of musical theater's most cherished composers, a man who has brought joy and light into all of our hearts, the man who gave us Phantom of the Opera and Sunset Boulevard, Andrew Lloyd Webber. Andrew, hello, how are you doing? Hey, what's up? I'm Andrew Lloyd Webber. I'm the Phantom of the Opera, yeah? Andrew, it is so great to have you here to talk about your work. I just want to go through your career and pick your brain, figure out how you got to be where you are. Let's start maybe with your first collaboration with Tim Rice, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Yeah, so Tim Rice and I took a bunch of acid, just a lot of acid, maybe too much, and we banged Joseph all out right then and there that night, no homo. So you're saying you wrote Joseph in one sitting, in one night? Yeah, we wrote Joseph in one night. I mean, that was not the only thing we were taking. You know, there are other things that you can take to enhance your productivity. So we show up the next day, we've written all of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat in one night, right? And we show up because these people who had hired us, they're like, oh, we need something to get the kids off the streets. And I'm like, sure, musical theatre can do that. That's famously known for getting kids off of streets. And Tim Rice and I show up with Joseph, and we're still pretty fucked up from the night before. We are not completely there when we go in. But they take it, and they listen to it, and they're like, we love this. We love this. The kids love this. This is great. This is amazing, Andrew. This is amazing, Andrew. That's what they said to me. They said, Andrew, this is amazing. And Tim and I just looked at each other because we could not believe it. Oh, and to keep in mind, still pretty not in our right minds, not completely sober. You know, Tim and I thought that, okay, that was our lucky drug, you know, being on acid, so we kind of stayed on it through most of the rehearsal process. And what I love is people to this day will come up to me and they'll say, you know, I was in Joseph. I was the sheep herder. I'm like, wow, okay, you were the sheep herder. And Lana Del Rey came up to me on the red carpet and she said, oh my god, I played the narrator in Joseph. That is amazing. Lana Del Rey, just top 10, top 7 hoes of all time. And you know, I'd heard that she was into older guys and older gentlemen, and you know, I am an older gentleman. So after Joseph, there was your next show, Jesus Christ Superstar. The inspiration is, see, where Jesus Christ Superstar came from is one day, you know, I was just chilling out, and I thought, what if Jesus was just chilling out? Like in the modern day. You ever hear that song? How's it go? What if God was one of us? That was basically what I was thinking. That was what went into it. So after that was Evita, and you worked with Patti LuPone, and you two have had sort of a strained relationship over the years. Oh, Patti's a messy bitch. She loves gossip. So, according to Wikipedia, Miss LuPone was quoted as saying, he writes crap music. Evita was his best score. Evita, in its bizarreness, when I first heard it, I thought, I swear to God, he hated women. There are some very romantic moments in his music, and there is some real trash that he doesn't even think about parting with. He's not a very good editor of his own stuff. So, that's a hot take. What would you say to that? One time, I'll tell you this story. One time, Patti was singing, and her mouth was open so wide. I went up at her on stage, and I was like, I just kind of, her mouth was open, and I just, oh. So you put your entire fist in Miss LuPone's mouth. while she was singing. And you may have heard that story, but what they don't tell you is that the whole bloomin' fist fit inside of her mouth. So, consider that. So fast forward to cats. Well, one day I was just chilling out, and I thought, what if cats were just chilling out, like in the modern day? You ever hear that song? How does it go? It goes, what if cats was one of us? That's basically what I was thinking. That's what went into it. Wow. So what about Starlight Express? So yeah, with Starlight Express, I was just chilling out one day and I thought, what if trains were chilling out in the modern day? And I thought that song, how does it go? What if trains was one of us? So that was basically what I was thinking. That's what went into it. And then, of course, there's Phantom of the Opera, your most cherished work. Right, so Phantom, it's based on a book. And I read the back cover and I was so inspired. I thought, this Phantom guy, no one understands him. He's a genius and no one understands him. You ever see that show Rick and Morty? Over here we call it Richard and Mortimer. I'm like Rick. I see him on the telly, and he's like, I'm Tiny Rick, I'm Pickle Rick, and I identify with that. I'm like, I'm Tiny Andrew, I'm Pickle Lloyd Webber. All right, and there you have it. Pickle Lloyd Webber. Andrew, do you have anything else to say? Any advice to give to young people just starting out on their own? Yes, I do. Stay away from bitches named Sarah. All right. Thanks, Andrew. Bye-bye, everybody. I'll see you next time. By the way, I'd just like to clarify that I've never been convicted of plagiarism. Those are all nasty rumors that have been settled out of court. They settled out of court because they were false lies. I'm Pickle Lloyd Webber.